So, hello all. We have with us Ritesh Pandey. Now, I'm going to set the mahol of the discussion, and this is something I really want him to share. This one aspect of his story, which I believe is absolutely interesting, which is this is his second attempt to CAD, and its first attempt, something happened while taking the QA section, and that sort of determined was back of his mind throughout his second attempt. And let's hear that story. So Ritesh, what happened?
So the first two sections went amazingly well. I did well at VARC, and I was pretty sure that it had gone well. But then when I came to quants, I took this backload of LRDI with me that it hasn't gone well, and this actually made me think that I've ruined it all. I've the entire year that I've invested in preparing for this one thing, I've ruined it completely, and I just could not do anything after that. I could not note down the numbers that were written on the paper. I remember clearly that I was trying to write 56 and I was not being able to write 56 on my paper. So that brought down the percentile to 71 and I just could solve only 3 questions. The overall percentile was 96, but then I was not pretty satisfied with my attempt. And the entire year after that went into preparing on how I could just control my fears, how I could not just get into my emotions, and how I could just let my preparations come into the way, and just give my best, like whatever the situation was. So even in this attempt, even in this attempt, uh, after my VARC section, I felt like I've done it. I've just ruined that section. And if I had not prepared well, like for this entire year, for that feeling of mine, I would have ruined it this time also. But then I kept my calm and I did well in the other two sections also, and I made it up. So it went that way.
So ऐसा क्यों हुआ? Why did it happen the first time? So when you looked at what you're telling me that DLR section you felt did not go well. What was the percentile
Yes.
that you got in the first attempt? DLR?
99.5.
And and then you got 99.5 percentile. Obviously, you don't know at that point in time.
Yes.
Then you thought you did not do well at all.
Yes.
Then you
Yes.
actually got
And that ruined it.
99.5%.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you would have so पहले साल तो you would have cursed yourself a lot, नहीं?
Yes, sir, I did. I did. But then that's what I learned, that I do not have to go back into my memories, or I do not have to foresee things on how things are going. I just have to be in the present. So that's what the learning was.
So and now you got what percentile this year?
Sir, this was 99.73 overall.
99.73 with Bangalore, Calcutta, FMS,
Yes.
Lucknow,
Convert.
all
Yes.
converts.
Yes.
So to talk us through when you say I'm preparing my mind for it. So what was that preparation? You're saying preparing yourself not to repeat the scenario. What was that
Yes.
preparation?
So yeah, so every mock that I gave, so in my first attempt, whenever I used to give any mock, the feelings, the way that one section went, it generally percolated in the other section. So I understood it that time as well, but then I did not take any action for it. But then when I was preparing this time, I made it very sure that I have a very clear thoughts related to every section that I'm giving. And for example, if my RDA section has gone bad, it's okay, it has gone bad, but I have a target of 45, scoring at least 45 in my quants, and that should not be affected by whatever has happened before or whatever I'm thinking of the section before. I was used to be very clear on this. Like I've practiced this a number of times. This has happened also. In LRD, I would score probably 8 or 9 marks, but I would that section in that particular mock, I'll make it sure that I've scored more marks in quants that I would probably have done without that LRDA section having gone bad. So this was the preparation behind it.
So you're basically saying that you're consciously told yourself every single time that
Yes,
cat has got 3 sections. I will
correct,
keep the fight on 3 sections. I will not
correct,
take the baggage of the previous section to this one because
correct,
eventually you never know
correct.
what percentile is going to happen.
And I'd seen it, right. So 99.5 in LRDI, right. I'd seen it that my emotions and my feelings about one particular section is not really what has actually happened. So why should I probably ruin things which are there in my hand at that moment? So yeah.
So you had put in a lot of effort the first time as well, right, in your preparation.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. It was a very serious attempt, and I'd done everything that I could possibly do.
So in the second attempt, was it as serious, or did you think that you could do lesser work, or did you do more stuff than the first attempt? What happened the second time?
No, no. So in the second attempt, I loosened a bit. I relaxed a bit. I did not put in as much pressure that I had done in the previous attempt. I made it very clear what my plan was for each section. I made it 45, 30, and 45. And this was my target for each of these sections. And I used to be very chill about it. So in my first attempt, I used to give in as many hours as I could. And I used to not go out, or I used to constrain myself in everything that I could possibly do. So just because I want to do the best that I could. But I realized that that's not the way. If you want to really give your best, allow yourself some area, allow yourself some slack, and do not be so hard on yourself. That's what the agenda was for the next for this attempt. And I just chilled out. I just chilled, and I just took it as a game, right? I just played it as a game. I just realized what are the things that I could improve, and just I gave a free mock also like that only. So just it's just a game, and I'm here to just score. That's it.
Okay, so it was a complete U-turn from your
Yes.
attitude. I think attitude changed. I think
Yes.
preparation. I'm guessing that you're still putting in effort. But to tell me when did you how many months did you study? How many hours per day on an average? I think so.
So this year I started it a bit. Started a little late. I started it probably in August, and I did not do a lot. I did just 3 or 4 hours a day maximum,
So
and I also had a job.
yeah.
I was doing two
Yeah.
jobs.
This. Everybody will be thinking that he was taking it chill, means that Banda is like half an hour, 15 minutes every day. He's chill, ladies and gentlemen, is preparing for 3 hours every day. That's his chill. Okay. So, so you can basically imagine what he would have done the first attempt. Would have been crazy.
Yes.
So in this, so in your preparation, what according to you, so one is attitudinal change, and sort of in your preparation, what are the things that worked in your favor, or you believe has a huge role to play in terms of you getting a score, in terms of plan of action? What was it?
Okay. So I think if I answer it in a way that okay, so a lot of things people like me who are aspiring probably for next year's cat or this year's cat, they are always told by a lot of people that do this and it'll magically solve things, right? Okay, okay, do this and it'll automatically happen. Start reading some articles and your VRC will dramatically improve. So that thing I think one should not listen to, but logically analyze what your problems are. For example, in your BARC 1000 course, you very clearly tell that okay, this this helps you in this way. You have to understand the question setter, right? You have to understand the traps. So you explain that very clearly, and that I think gave me a very logical sense on how this is going to improve, or how this lesson is actually translating to my performance. Not as in just go on and read five articles and probably you'll start doing better at VARC. That is now how things work. That is now how the question is designed. So probably the second thing that has changed in my this attempt was that I started logically analyzing what my faults are and trying to fill what things probably I fill that gaps using information that I could from the from probably VARC 1000 course, or probably from the mock series that I was using of CL or any other. So this thing, this logical analysis of what my faults are and finding out what things can probably help me in covering those. This analysis, I think, helped me a lot in improving the overall score.
Yeah, Nitish, I think in this day and age, the amount of resources that one has access to, it
Yes,
is unbelievable. So
yes.
if I were to say that one can clear the cat without paying anyone any money, there are so many resources that is available, which creates another problem of we are all hoarders of resources. We keep hoarding a lot of resources because somebody is hoarding resources, and then we kind of lost as to what to do with this. So what I can hear what you're telling me is that you are very sure as to what your problem is, and you are
Yes.
very sure what I have to do, and then
Yes.
figure out from each other. So I think that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yes, I think that should be done also. For example, what I see in a lot of people is that uh, they try to offload this responsibility to someone else. Like, you try to please help me in figuring out what I am at a loss at, like what my problems are. No, I think you should do it yourself. Find out what your problems are, and then see what medicine you need. Right? Do not just offload things, and do not just give your problems away to someone else. Try to figure out what your problems are by yourself, and then try to improve on those.
See, one of the issue in the conversation, one of the problems. Let's say I'm coming from a perspective as a mentor, right?
Yes.
Uh, so the problem with us is that we tend to prescribe. We prescribe, right? So somebody comes with a problem. I have an issue in VRC. For example, I have been teaching for so long,
Yes.
so I have some prejudged understanding about what the problem is. So I'm not going to sit and sort of spend time listening. I end up saying stuff, and half the time I might be right, and sometimes I might be wrong. And I have kind of toned this down a lot from who I was once upon a time. So you're right. The amount of analysis that you can do yourself
Yes.
is a lot rather
Yes.
than what
Yes.
somebody else can do for. And why should someone else do it for you? So you're good,
Yes.
good.
True. Absolutely, sir.
So
Ab-
तुम्हें subset था मतलब everything was there. So did you have any this time different anxiety? You sort of had one issue that you sorted out. Did any other challenges keep coming in your preparation time? Anything else that popped up?
Uh, Nothing new as in that way. So one thing that I changed this time was that I wa- I understood that it is not a very big thing. I I deeply put it in myself that it is not a big thing. Scoring in cat is not a very big thing, as like you would, as people form this huge imagination of things that okay, how difficult it might be to get probably that score, or is there anything missing in me that probably I cannot get in till that point. So I think the first step should be that the person should understand that it is not a very big thing. Just analyze what your weak points are, analyze what the question setter is asking, and just play your game. So this time nothing new came out of the box, because I had made this very clear after my first attempt that it is not a very big thing to do. If you just see what the question setter is trying to do, and just try to beat him at it, just that thing.
So you're just playing a game against the question setter. That's
Correct. Exactly. And that's what you were also telling in the VRC 1000 course, right? That understand what the game is, understand how the four options are being made, and just try to figure out what the faults on each of the wrong answers are. So this thing, right? This thing is more of a mindset thing, like how you're approaching the question. I'm not scared of anything that comes in. I'm not scared of any set that comes in. If it's too hard that I'm going to leave it. I do not even have to solve all the questions. Solving 50% of the questions gives you this percentile that you desire, right? So it's not a big deal. It's just how you see it, and it's just how you respond to it. That's it, I think.
was it like you stood every day in the mirror and kept on telling this to yourself? Is that it sounds like these are the things that you kept telling yourself in the last 1 year. That's what I'm.
Before every mock, I used to do that. I used to tell myself that it's not a big deal. Solving 15 questions in quants is not a big deal. At least 10 of them are super easy and 5 of them are medium. Just figure out which of those are easy and medium and just solve those. You do not need extraordinary concepts. You do not need extraordinary knowledge to probably crack any of these questions.
Wonderful. Uh, so, so one thing I want to ask about is you were very sure in the beginning. At least there was one thing that you were very sure that you wanted to go to Bangalore.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is the story there? So why Bangalore? What is and eventually got it. So
Yes. So, so I've always been inclined towards startups, right? I've probably told you probably 100 times or more, that I'm very inclined towards startups, and that is what I have figured out that I want to do. Now, I've probably gone through a lot of content that IIM Bangalore has put out regarding its startup cell, and I've also read a lot about how its NSR cell works. So the kind of exposure that they give to the students and the opportunities that lies in with that NSR cell, I think that I can probably use that a lot to my advantage. So before it starting, before even my first attempt, I had this very clear in my mind that if I'm going to crack IIMs, it has to be the IMB and nowhere else on that I'm going to do. So this was very, very clear, uh, because of that startup cell and the work that it does.
Then once you got the call of I am Bangalore, it would have been a stressful time for I have to convert. Did that? Did you again tell yourself this is not a big deal, or it's like it was a different story then? Once the
So
call came.
so once the call came, it was again the same anxiety that I had to deal with, right? So the same pressure that, okay, if what if this does not work out? What if this is it feels like a dream when you've worked, like when you've put in like 2 years for it, no, it feels like a dream. Okay, the call has come. So now what? Like, will you be the person who would convert from those probably thousand of calls that the college has released? So if you are you those that among those people who would convert, and you would always see the best of the profiles around you, and you would always feel that, okay, no, you are lacking at something. Okay, no, you are at fault somewhere. Probably there's specifically something wrong with you that you won't be able to convert, and the mind always pushes you in that way, right? But then I think the preparation helped, and I started seeing things as not as they would appear to me without this mindset. I just started seeing things as they were. So I did not differentiate between an IMB's interview or any other IIM's interview. I just took it as an interview. I just took it as a game. The first minute of the interview, I have to kill it. I have to bend it in my favor, bend it to my profile where I want to take it. Like, so I started treating everything as a game. Like, even this helped me even in the IMA interview call. So treating things as a game helped me in a great way to probably get across the fear. And also, if you so IMB's, when IMB's call letter came, right? The in the first before the interview call letter came, right? I was shivering at that moment when I received that email. But then this 1 month of mental preparation helped me so much that when I was about to get into the interview, I did not feel anything. I was totally calm. I was totally stable, and I was ready to probably play my game. So I think this mental preparation of this month also probably helped. So
And
yeah.
I'm sure that during the 1 month, I know for a fact that you slogged.
Right. I,
you had you had gone back to the graduation subject that you hated, and you studied
yes,
that,
yes,
and you had done initiative, some work by the side, and you
yes.
wanted to. It was all nice, man. Very good. So
Yes.
going forward, is I am Bangalore now a game for you again? You go there, play your game, continue to play your game.
I would not. I would still try to see it as a game. This anxiety that I have always had used to cripple me down, and I don't think it helps me in any way. So I'll still try to see it as a game, and let's see if I'm able to play my moves or not.
May you play the game. May you win the game. Right. We will lose some battles here and there, but eventually we have to win the war. That's a
Yes.
that's a key thing. Wonderful, wonderful talking to you, Tesh. All the very best.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.